welcome to episode 2 of Diary of a Fighter. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, since we last had a catch up. All of these days blur into one. We're going to take you through a training session today down at London Shoot Fighters again. We'll have a little chat, update what's going on. We have also got a House of Rugby this evening, which is kind of my other job, other job behind DJ and speaking, which we're quite excited. We've got Sean O'Brien, Irish legend, on the show later. But first of all, it's time to fight. Business, as always. Right. It's a very smart GoPro you've got there. Hero 8, capturing. Excellent. Should we put this on? This is all the behind the scenes stuff. I'll put this in just the magic of the magic of what goes on. Right. Go and get filled in. Right. It is a more leisurely start today. It is 12:19. I'm on the way down to Shoot Fighters. I actually DJ'd last night at a place in Birmingham. It's quite a cool venue, about 1,600 people, for a load of Birmingham universities and other universities all coming together. Didn't invite Jack, which was a shame because it would have got a load of great crowd interactions and bits and pieces. It would look great on Instagram, but I had a lot of fun. The students were going off. They had some beach balls and volleyballs which they were booting around, and it kept hitting me on the decks, and it was like one of those moments I was like, haha, we all like a joke, but if that fucking thing comes near me again, I'm going to stab it. But I had nothing to stab it with, and I also didn't want to stamp on it in case I fell over, so it was really awkward. I was in a catch-22 situation, so I basically ignored them. Got back about 1 this morning, so I was on 11 till 12. It's only in Birmingham, so not too far. Had a big sleep. I've kind of, since I had a catch up with you last time, had a bit of a meltdown. Which I think we probably need to talk about, as I want to be really honest about things. I kind of kept getting ill. I had all my blood tests done in May last year, and I had my blood test done recently, and I basically was showing signs of burnout. So there's this thing in your blood called CK creatine kinase, which or creatine kinase, which basically is waste fluid and waste products, etc. You know, it's not exactly right, but basically elevated levels show your body's under stress and everything else. And mine was the same on a day after training as you would get after a really, really tough test match against South Africa, and that was on a day off. So my levels were pretty high, was pretty run down, not been sleeping properly for various reasons, but you know, obviously the stress of this, commuting every single day. You know, it's 4 hours out of my day in and out of London, and obviously the bits and pieces elsewhere. I mean, I've reduced a lot of the work I'm doing because I'm really committed to the fighting, but I haven't really, you know, and I'm sort of need some stuff outside of this fighting life, because you know it is that intense, and if you live every moment through your job as opposed to having other hobbies and bits and pieces, you're gonna burn out. Because if you have a good day fighting, then you're brilliant. If you have a bad day fighting, then it's not great. But if I can leave the door at Shoot Fighters knowing that I've done everything, and then I can focus on other things, then I've been okay. But I had to have a bit of an intervention. I caught up with my old nutritionist and kind of nutritional guru, Matt Lovell. Chloe's been doing all my kind of food nutrition, but I wanted to see Matt read my bloods and everything else. And yeah, basically overtraining was kind of the diagnosis, but that's part and parcel of being a fighter. You're used to it. It's not the guys that Shoot Fighters. It's just what happens. Obviously, if you've got a stressful lifestyle, that doesn't help. So I've gone back to basics, addressed all my supplementation, and really important is that so many people ask me about supplements and protein powders, all this kind of stuff. But I didn't. You know, I wasn't really taking anything because I didn't know what I was deficient in, what was required. So I had all my bloods done, as I said, and I've come back and I've got a whole new regime, sleeping way better, which is really great. I'm kind of getting a lot more rest, nailing my recovery, doing cryotherapy at Kicks in London, which is cool, which I'm finding some benefit for, doing saunas for 20 minutes. There's loads of research into saunas and recovery, and I'm starting to feel a bit better. Trained yesterday, trained Friday, had a good session, did a double day yesterday. Which was pretty intense, ground and pound first kind of stuff with that, getting obviously hit and dealing with that and all the bits and pieces, clearing your head and trying to put some strikes in yourself. I think today will be another big day, probably got some full-on sparring, wrestling, and then, as I said, we've got House of Rugby to follow on after that, and then tomorrow I've got a day off. So it's been intense. There was a bit of a wobble there in the middle. I think Chloe was pretty concerned about me. but we've got back on track, and I think you're always going to have these moments of dips, peaks and troughs. If you speak to the other fighters, they have it all the time. One of the lads, I won't mention his name, found God halfway through one of his last training camps. So I haven't quite reached that level yet, but we still have some time to go before the first fight, so anything can happen. This is where we spend a lot of our time with our magician Will, right over here, who's the absolute food maestro. Who feeds everybody, keeps everyone going. How do you pronounce it? Noya? Noya? Noyo. Noyo food. If you're in Wembley, head down to Noyo food and get it all on board. It's got perfect nutrition, but most of the time after the fight I'm so knackered, all I can do is drink shakes. But hey, you're meeting some big timers today. Some big timers in there. This is Norbert. Say hello to everybody.
Don't worry about my hair.
Yeah, don't worry about his hair, yeah. He's growing a turnip at the moment. So yeah, that's another day done. No actually heavy sparring today, I thought there was going to be, but Carl, my sparring partner's not in today. So just some pad work, then some wrestling technique with some jiu-jitsu sparring at the end. I'm sparring with lighter guys, obviously they keep the movement up, and I got choked out a couple of times, standard. But it was yeah, it was good. I got a few moves in myself. Need to rehydrate, get my nutrition in, and then we got off and do House of Rugby later before I pass out. Seeing you. Fully hydrated and fed. So good. They got that cafe you would have seen at the start of the video on board. So you go post training. Hydration is key, man. I sweat so much. I'm not like a freaky, sweaty, disgusting person. Just you're at that for kinda almost 2 hours. Calories, nutrition is so important for me. You know, after I lost so much weight in the jungle, and I don't really do a lot of weights anymore because I can't with the volume of training and stuff we're doing, and the fact you do not want to turn up to the gym sore because you're already been in hell. So I'm kind of having to really smash as much calories as I can do. So post training, I'm going to have a greens juice with like spinach and apple and ginger and all this kind of stuff for immune support, and then and then basically I have like a protein shake as well, and I smashed a meal, and now we're off to House of Rugby. We're going to get there in about 45 minutes, so we got that, and then we'll be home, feet up. Then I've got a book coming out, but I can't tell you anything about that. That's coming out, and then tomorrow I'm doing Ep2 with the England rugby team, so it'll be nice to see the lads before their massive game against Ireland at Twickenham this weekend. But for now, we'll shut up and sit back. We're actually listening to Dad's Army. Jack's never really listened to Dad's Army before an audio book, and we're chuckling away, or he's politely chuckling away. That's as rock and roll as this lifestyle gets. Training, eating, car, audio books. What more do you need? House of Rugby time. This was such a weird thing that I got involved in House of Rugby. Someone asked me to do a show about rugby when I was still playing, and I was like, I'm actually not sure I want to do that, give up a Tuesday night every week. I didn't think it was that professional, so initially I wasn't that keen, but I decided to give it a go because my old mate Alex Payne asked me, and I discovered it was with Joe Media. And do you know what? We've done something like 60 shows, and we turned over our 10 million viewer and listener the other day, which was pretty insane. Aha! This is Murray. You need to get Murray.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm here trying to find a lost Sean O'Brien.
Is he lurking around? Murray's like a key man on House of Rugby. That's why I got my personal. I'm so big time now. I got my
You are
personal
quite
camera.
big time.
Very big time. Murray's like a folk hero. It's someone that's part of the whole setup. He's like loved by everybody. But yeah, we've got a great team actually at Joe at House of Rugby. Like it's really fun coming here after a hard day or whatever you're doing. Here it is.
It's good to have people to let you in as well.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Look, VIPs. Oh, we're so big time, isn't it?
Yes, Hask. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that was awkward as well.
Hopefully that makes.
Yeah, that will do. That was a spun handshake. Fuck. That was embarrassing. There's nothing worse than that, the handshake cabbage. Fuck up. Go with it. Come on in. Ah, here we are. Gorgeous George, and this is producer Si. This is my videographer Jack, he's just filming at all times. Wait, fuck, it's a shirt like a denim coloured shirt, but it's not denim.
It's not denim, no.
Oh, everybody good? Welcome to the green room. This is what the voices in the sky. This is what high level life's like with our buffet. I mean, I do keep telling them that I want some different stuff, but it's just not really listening to me. I just don't think I've got the power and clout. Got my spare wardrobe. This little number I have worn quite a few times, but I won't let me put it on show. But this is where we just sit and chat, mull over ideas, and then basically make no plans at all and go out there and talk absolute bollocks for normally sometimes 2 hours. But hopefully tonight it'll be quite short. I'll be interested to see my old mate Sean O'Brien. I haven't seen him for quite a while. He's had hip surgery, potential retirement, and now he's back in the mix, but he's lost. He's been wandering around for 20 minutes outside, and for a man from Tullow, it's a bit of a shock. Middle of East London for a man, so hopefully he'll be okay and won't be too jaded. But this is what we do. This is what I do every Tuesday and have done for however long, and I absolutely love it. And it is a nice respite, as I said, from getting away from fighting, whatever else is going on in my life. No, fuck off. We're coming in. How are you? Are you wandering around here?
Yeah.
Getting lost?
Yeah, absolutely.
I said a man from Ireland round East London.
I was training for my fight against.
Are you ready for a fight?
Well, I'm ready, you're not.
I'm ready. It's already started.
Close to training and it's just handy for everything. Nice coffee shops.
$1 million for it. I said, it's a fucking House of Rugby show. You're cash money, mate.
It's good.
Who wants to tell it? Does anyone else do
Ginger George.
Brian, and I'm joining James and Alex on this week's House of Rugby to discuss all things. What the fuck am I doing? Spill all things.
Just don't shut up.
you.
He hates it.
People say about me, bar my close friends and family. But, when it keeps coming out, the problem at times, because I'm going to get into bed early and get some sleep, and I was only getting up and getting her day going. But
Before we get into anything else, I wanted to pick up on Caroline Flack.
Yeah.
Because she was a friend of yours, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. I mean, look, I
Desperately sad.
look, it was actually quite poignant timing, really, after last week's show when we talked about social media bits and pieces. Look, I don't want to overplay it. I actually met Caroline during the summer a couple of times and got on really well with her. Chloe was closer to her, but actually my circle of friends are some of her best friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's hit everyone obviously massively hard as it would hit anyone. I think for me it's a really good sort of flag in the ground, really, to change some of the issues and some of the bits and pieces that are going on in terms of the media.
because it's a bit longer and just we know
You know, he used to come in the room and he goes, "You're as high as a cake, you're as high as a cake today, you'll be down later."
I used to see the Mary Poppins
Yeah.
all floating on the sea.
Yeah.
3 hours. 3 hours you were good for,
Yeah.
and then you were gone for 5 or 6. Yeah, three good hours you get out of a day, and then 5 or 6. That was.
It's 2 minutes to 11 in the evening. Finally got in after a long day. I've got part of the morning off tomorrow, but you've been watching Diary of a Fighter episode 2. If you want to share it, then please do. Please subscribe to the channel. Please follow me on Instagram at James Haskell, or give us a follow on Facebook, James Haskell JHHF, and I will see you next time for Diary of a DJ or Diary of a Fighter. Who knows? But now get out.